Hold on to your shamrocks. Folks, Boston's St. Patrick's Day weekend just turned into a full-on culture war cage match. Picture the scene. The Dropkick Murphys are shredding the MGM Music Hall. The crowd's drunk on Guinness and rebellion when frontman Ken Casey spots a red MAGA hat waving like a taunt in his punk rock kingdom. What does he do? He doesn't just sing louder, he stops the show, grabs the mic, and unleashes a profanity-laced tirade. This is America, there's no kings here. The crowd explodes, the video goes viral, and now half the internet's ready to crown Casey a hero, while the other half wants his head on a spike. This isn't just a concert meltdown, it's a Molotov cocktail of politics, punk, and pure rage, and you've got to watch it to the end to decide, is Casey a patriot standing tall, or a sanctimonious bully who just torched his own cred? Buckle up, this one's a doozy. The Flashpoint, Hat vs. Mike in Beantown. The 15th of March, 2025. The Dropkick Murphys, those Irish punk rabble-rousers from Boston's gritty streets, are in peak form, churning out anthems for the working stiffs. It's St. Patty's weekend, theirs thick with sweat and defiance, and then, bam, there it is, a MAGA hat, thrust high by some ballsy fan who clearly didn't get the memo about this band's vibe. Casey, a 54-year-old bruiser with a chip on his shoulder and a mic in his fist, clocks it. For most of the gig, the guy's been brandishing that hat like it's Excalibur, and Casey's done playing nice. He cuts the music dead. The room freezes. Then, with the subtlety of a sledgehammer, he roars, "This is America. There's no kings here." The crowds of powder keg some cheer like it's the revolution reborn. Others hiss like he's crossed a line. Casey doubles down, calling the fans hat-waving a cult move, then drops the hammer. "Shut the fuck up for 5 minutes so we can play a song about our grandparents and the guys who kicked the Nazis' asses." The band slams back into gear, but the damage is done as shaky phone vid catches it all, and X lights up like a dumpster fire on the 4th of July. Why watch this to the end? Because it's a front row seat to a showdown that's got more layers than a bar-fight onion. You'll see Casey's veins pop, the crowd fracture, and a fleeting shot of the MAGA fan who doesn't flinch. It's a 1-minute war zone, and the last note leaves you picking a side whether you want to or not. The band, punk roots or preachy posers? Let's rewind. The Dropkick Murphys aren't your average punks, they're Boston's Celtic sons, born in 1996 from dive bars and union halls. Songs like Shipping Up to Boston scream working-class fury, Irish pride, and a middle finger to the elite. Casey, raised in hardscrabble Dorchester, embodies that ethos, loud and unapologetic. The band's been anti-Trump since day one, famously telling him to shove it when he tried co-opting their tunes in 2016. So when that MAGA hat popped up, it wasn't just a wardrobe choice, it was a declaration of war on everything Casey's built. This ain't his first dust-up either. Weeks earlier in Florida, he'd roasted another MAGA fan, betting their Trump shirt was made in China. It was. But Boston? That's sacred ground. That hat wasn't just a troll, it was a gauntlet thrown at Casey's feet, and he swung back hard. Too hard? That's the million-dollar question. The video. A punk powder keg or a preachy meltdown? The clip's a pressure cooker. It kicks off mid-song, the crowd roaring. When Casey's eyes lock on that hat, you can feel the steam building, then he snaps. "This is America. There's no kings here." It's a gut punchline, delivered with a snarl that could peel paint. The room splinters clash with boos as he rants about cult loyalty, then lands the Nazi jab like a cheap shot in a street fight. The band restarts, the video fades, and you're left with your jaw on the floor. Watch it all because this ain't just noise, it's a Rorschach test. Is Casey a punk god sticking it to the man, or a hypocrite stomping free speech? You'll see the crowd's chaos, hear the venom in his voice, and catch that final pivot to a song about WW2 Vetsa, move some call noble, others call pandering. The end's where the real gut check hits. Did he win, or just prove he's as tribal as the guy he's blasting? The blowback. X erupts in a holy war. Cue the X-pocalypse. Casey's fans lost their minds posts like, "Ken just owned that MAGA clown," and "Boston legend" flooded the platform. But the counterpunch was brutal. Punk's supposed to be freedom, not fascist tantrums. One user raged. Another, Dropkick hypocrisy fans while crying about Nazis? Rich. MAGA Nation piled on, branding Casey a snowflake thug and vowing to torch their CDs as if they owned any. Memes flew Casey as a crying toddler, the hat guy as a stoic saint. Casey hit back on a podcast growling, I'm not here to babysit idiots waving hypocrisy in my face. He swore it wasn't planned, just a reflex to a guy shoving it down my throat during a set about his roots. The band stayed mum online, but the war raged. Free speech crusaders cried foul, while lefties toasted Casey as a resistance icon. Who's right? That's the fight you're stepping into. The stakes. Punk versus politics versus principles. This ain't just about a hat or a hothead, it's America's fault lines cracking wide open. That MAGA cap? It's a lightning rod half, see it as liberty, half as tyranny. Casey's no kings jab cuts to the bone. Is Trump a leader or a wannabe dictator? In Boston, a city that birthed revolution and bleeds Irish grit, it's personal. Casey's not debating policies, defending his turf, his band, his soul. But when you scream "shut up" at a fan, are you punk rock or just another control freak? The video's your ticket to the melee. Watch it because it's 2025 in a nutshell. Everyone's yelling, no one's listening, and the stakes feel sky high. Was Casey standing for the little guy or bullying one? Did the fan deserve it or just trigger a snowflake meltdown? It's a controversy that's got claws, and the end where Casey pivots to honor vets either redeems him or reeks of sanctimony. You decide. The big picture. Punk's dead. Long live the fight. Punk's supposed to be chaos, not conformity. Think Sid Vicious spitting on norms, not preaching them. The Dropkicks lean into community over anarchy, but Casey's outburst blurs the line. Is he a rebel or a dictator in Doc Martens? This Clash Hat versus Mike, red versus green mirrors a nation where every stage, every bar, every X-post is a battlefield. The video's raw Casey's fury, the crowd split, the song's defiance. It's less about music and more about who gets to scream loudest. For you, it's a front row seat to the madness. Cheer Casey's balls, curse his gall, or just marvel at the mess. It's your call. But that final moment, tying it to Nazi fighters, either elevates the rant or exposes its crack. Watch it, because this is where punk politics and principles slug it out and someone's gotta lose. Conclusion. One night, one hell of a mess. Ken Casey didn't just yell at a fan, he lit a match in a gas-soaked room. That MAGA hat was a dare, and Casey took it like a bull to a red flag. The Dropkick Murphys' Boston Brawl isn't a footnote, it's a flare-up in a war that's been simmering since 2016. Hero or hypocrite? Victim or troll? The video's your jury, box watch it to the end, because that last chord's where the truth hides. In 2025, this is us. Divided, deafening, and damn near deranged. Pick your side, but don't blink, you'll miss the knockout.